Yesterday we wrote a short post called 10 Companies That Could Drop 50%. And I wanted to do a quick recap and summary of that because it turned out to be quite timely. And the idea for the post came from a paper Brad did with Rob Arnott and Shane Shepard of Research Affiliates called Yes, It's a Bubble. So what? And we have that paper on our website, and I would recommend reading the entire thing. I might be biased, but I found it quite interesting. And it offers a robust definition of the term bubble, which gets thrown out quite often. So take a look at that paper if you can. And in that piece, the authors argued that many stocks were approaching bubble territory, but warned that the market could go much higher still. Well, several months later, the market now is higher. So we at Cornell Capital wanted to go back to the drawing board and find what we thought to be 10 of the best bubble candidates. We did so because we believe these are the kind of companies whose stock could drop by 50% or more if the economy slows, sentiment changes, and the market declines. So for our list, to avoid it being overrun by lots of tiny companies, we limited the list to companies with a market cap of $5 billion or greater. And we also excluded healthcare companies, as we are not healthcare experts, and many of these stocks have had big run-ups due to specific treatments or drugs which we don't really have the expertise to evaluate. So without further ado, and in no particular order, here is our list of our top 10 bubble stocks. First, we have Roku, which has been up 260% in the last calendar year, despite having negative operating income in 2017 in a very hotly competitive market. Number 2, Shopify, up 290% in the last 2 years. Negative operating income in the last 4 years, also faces intense competition. Spotify was a recent IPO, which is up sharply from its IPO, and the company has never made an operating profit in its existence. Has a market cap of $31.7 billion in a very competitive market with some big players. Number 4, we have Tesla, which has a decade of operating losses, but still worth more than GM, despite its tiny comparative production and constant management upheaval. Number 5, Square, up 760% in the last 2 years. Also never made an operating profit. Number 6, we have HubSpot, which is another hot advertising company, up 220% in the last 2 years. And again, yet to approach an operating profit. 7 is Palo Alto Networks, a sexy networking company that has run up 175% in the last 6 months, despite the fact that it also has never made an operating profit. AMD, whose new chips and recent success with Intel is impressive, but the stock is up a whopping 1,225% in the last 2.5 years. And although operating profit did turn positive in 2017, it remains very small. And meanwhile, the sleeping giant Intel seems to be awakening. Number 9, we have Amazon, which some people might take issue with on the list, and it is a great company, to be sure. But it is up 150% in the last 2 years to an almost $1 trillion in market capitalization, with a current PE of 155. And even a company as great as Amazon can still be substantially overpriced. And rounding out our list, we have Netflix, which is another great company, but it has run up 280% in the last 2 years to surpass Disney in market cap. Profit is positive now, but very small, so the PE ratio is 171. And meanwhile, Disney and others have woken up to the threat of Netflix. And as an indication what can happen, let's consider Snap, which soon after its IPO was trading at $27. And it looked a lot like the 10 companies we have on this list. Snap is now trading at $7.75, down almost 70%. So it's time for a little caution. And to reinforce that point, let's look at how the companies on our top 10 list did today. And granted, it was a pretty bad day in the market. And the S&P at the time of this filming is down a little over 1%. But let's take a look at our list. Roku is down over 8%. Shopify, 7.17%. Spotify and Tesla are both down over 5%. Square is down 3.28%, as well as Hotspot. Palo Alto Networks is down just slightly though. AMD is down 2.36%, Amazon 2.61%, and Netflix is down about 4%. We don't want you to take too much away from one day of performance, but if you're invested in one of these stocks or a stock like this, we advise you to tread carefully and be cautious. Thank you.